Hiroki's fingers froze over the keyboard. The doorbell rang, an unwelcome spike in the quiet. Through the peephole, the mail carrier stood distorted, holding a plain envelope with a smile that didn't match the afternoon.
The mail slot works. You don't need to ring every time.
I am sorry, but I wanted to deliver this one directly.
She placed it into his hand, both her palms under the envelope, her touch lingering a moment too long. He shut the door and tore it open. A water bill. Nothing that needed a doorbell.
Not very important. So, why does she always do this?
He pulled out a notebook. In neat columns, he wrote the date and a tally. 23 hand deliveries this month. Every piece of mail, bills, junk, a magazine, handed over with a ring of the bell. Always for apartment 204, never for anyone else. The question coiled inside him. Why him alone? And what was she really delivering? Hiroki stared at the log. 23 entries, all his apartment. The pattern was undeniable.
I asked her once to use the slot. She apologized and kept ringing.
The memory surfaced. A polite request, a soft apology, and the same doorbell the next afternoon. He crossed to the window. Below, the mail van sat, and he caught sight of her moving along his floor. She paused at his door. Her fingers traced the edge of the envelope. Then, she pressed the bell.
She always hesitates, like she's bracing herself.
Back at his desk, he searched the complaint line for the post office. Harassment? No, it felt too gentle for that word. The regulations were clear. Delivery to the door wasn't forbidden, just unusual. She hadn't broken any rule.
Then, why do I feel like something's wrong?
He closed the browser and looked at the stack of her hand-delivered mail. 23 unanswered questions. The next afternoon's mail sat on his desk. Among the bills, a pale blue envelope stood out, handwritten. He lifted it. The paper was soft, the address in careful, looping script. No computer font had touched it. Your translation of The Bridge Beyond reached me when I had nothing left. The girl who lost her brother. I understood her completely. Thank you for writing those words. Hiroki stared at the letter. He'd translated that novel 3 years ago, and the emotional responses still came.
This one feels different, almost like it was written by someone who lived it.
He checked the envelope again. No return address, just a sender's name, Yuki Sato, but the postmark, the circular stamp read Saitama, his prefecture's central office. Mere minutes from his apartment.
Strange. Fan letters usually travel much farther. Why would someone so close write anonymously?
He added it to the stack of unanswered questions next to the logbook. A thread of unease pulled tighter. 24 deliveries now. And a letter that felt less like admiration and more like a cry from the dark. That evening, Hiroki couldn't focus. He typed a message to his friend Yuki. The mail carrier keeps ringing my bell for every letter. It's weird. I don't know what to do. Yuki's reply flashed. Install a doorbell camera. That'll show you what she's doing.
A camera. It feels invasive, but maybe that's the only way to know.
He ordered a compact camera with motion alerts. 2 days later, the package arrived. He unboxed it beside the door, reading the instructions under the hallway light. By mid-afternoon, the camera was fixed above the peephole, its lens aimed at the mat. He synced it to his phone and downloaded the app, watching the empty hallway on the screen.
Now I'll see. Whatever she's hiding, it won't stay hidden for long.
He sat by the window, the phone propped up, waiting for the next ring that always came. At 2:34 p.m., his phone buzzed with a motion alert. The camera had finally caught her. On the live feed, Tomoko approached his door with quick, furtive steps, checking the hallway behind her. She knelt by the mail slot and slid a thin envelope inside. No knock, no ring, just silence.
She didn't ring? She just slipped it and left?
Before he could process it, the doorbell rang. Hiroki yanked the door open. Tomoko stood there with a bill. She handed it over with that same apologetic smile, as if nothing had happened. As soon as she turned the corner, Hiroki pulled the mailbox open and retrieved the envelope she'd secretly deposited. He compared it to the bill in his other hand. Same address, but no stamp, no postmark. Hand delivered. The letter inside began, "Your book held me when I was ready to let go. Thank you for writing those words." And now he had proof. The mail carrier was writing his fan letters and hand-delivering them in secret. But why? Hiroki didn't sleep. He pulled an old archive box from the closet, every fan letter he'd received in 2 years. He spread them across the floor, pale blue, cream, lavender. Over 30 envelopes, each addressed in the same careful hand. One by one, he checked the postmarks. Saitama, Saitama, Saitama again. Every letter originated within the same prefecture. The return addresses were all different, all fake. Names he'd never track. Signs of someone hiding.
These aren't casual notes. The writer remembers scenes I'd forgotten.
In one letter, the sender described the exact moment the novel's protagonist stood on a bridge, choosing life. Another letter spoke of a brother who had been lost, and how the book helped the writer mourn.
She's been writing to me for 2 years. Her pain poured into these pages, and I am just now seeing it.
The weight of it settled on him. A stranger had used his words to survive, and he'd almost reported her, but he still didn't know her name, or why she needed to watch his hands open every envelope. Hiroki sat at his desk and crafted a new kind of letter. Not a fan note, but a trap. He addressed it to himself using a friend's return address in Tokyo. Yuki agreed to mail it from Shinjuku. 3 days later, his phone buzzed. On the camera feed, Tomoko approached, glancing over her shoulder. She didn't stop at the mailbox. Instead, she pulled a familiar white envelope from her bag, the test letter.
She intercepted it. The letter never left the prefecture. She took it before it could be delivered normally.
The doorbell rang. Hiroki opened the door to find her smiling, the same envelope extended.
Thank you. I'll take it.
Have a good day, Hiroki-san.
He closed the door and examined the envelope. No postmark, no sign it had traveled anywhere. The trap had proved it. She was controlling his mail, but the real question gnawed deeper. What was driving her? The next afternoon, Hiroki waited by the peephole, rehearsing the words he'd held back for weeks.
Tomoko-san, can I ask you something? You deliver all my mail by hand, but the slot works perfectly. Why don't you just use it?
I worry it might jam. Sometimes letters get damaged that way.
I've checked it. It's never jammed, not once.
Her cheeks flushed beneath the postal cap, and her fingers tightened on the envelope.
I am sorry. I'll try to use it from now on.
She shoved the letter at him and retreated down the hall, her steps faster than any delivery route.
That was a lie. So obvious it almost stung.
He stood in the empty doorway, her lie ringing louder than the doorbell ever had. The mystery was no longer just strange. It was deliberate. That night, Hiroki opened the stored footage from his doorbell camera. Hours of hallway silence, waiting for her steps. He found the clip from 3 days ago. She didn't ring. She just stood there, tracing the edge of the paper with her thumb. He turned up the volume. A faint whisper came through. Just a little longer, just to see him open it. In the next clip, he zoomed in. 2 clear tear tracks on her cheeks, catching the hallway light.
She's crying. Every time. And I never noticed.
He unfolded one letter again, the words blurring. Your words were a hand reaching into my darkness.
I wrote a translator's note about loss, about how words can fail you. She read that note. She survived because of it.
The anger he'd felt that morning dissolved into something heavier. A debt he hadn't known he was owed. He closed the camera app and pulled out the complaint form he'd almost filed, then deleted the draft. He wouldn't report her. He couldn't. Not without knowing the whole story, and why she needed to hand him those words. The next morning, Hiroki wrote one question on a note page and taped it beside the doorbell. He hid by the door, watching the hallway through the peephole, waiting for the mail van. When Tomoko saw the note, she froze. The envelope in her hand dipped toward the floor. Her expression crumbled. She looked up and down the hallway. Like a trapped animal, she pulled out a pen and wrote a frantic reply against the wall. Her hand shaking, without ringing the bell, she slipped the folded paper through the mail slot and fled. Hiroki retrieved the note, his fingers unsteady as he unfolded it. "I am sorry. I just wanted to see you open your letters. I'll stop."
She just wanted to see me open them. That's all. Not to steal, not to harm.
Suspicion gave way to a quieter, more dangerous feeling, the need to understand. He read the note again, her words branded into the paper.
She offered to stop. If I do nothing, she'll vanish from my doorstep, and this all ends.
But something in him resisted the easy exit. He grabbed his phone and called Yuki.
She wrote a letter back. She just wanted to see me open them.
Yuki's reply was blunt. He called it an obsession, a reason to escalate to the police.
It doesn't feel like malice. I've read all 30 letters. She's in pain.
Yuki urged caution, but the warning only steadied Hiroki's resolve.
If I don't face her now, she'll carry this secret forever. I owe her more than silence.
He ended the call and stared out the window, waiting for tomorrow's mail. By dawn, his decision had hardened. He'd open the door before she could ring, and this time, he'd have a real conversation. Hiroki pressed his back against the door, listening. The mail van's engine cut, and footsteps climbed the stairwell. The footsteps stopped. He heard the familiar pause, the one before every ring. This time, he moved first. He yanked the door open. Tomoko flinched, the envelope in her hand trembling against her chest.
Tomoko-san, we need to talk. Please come inside.
I don't understand. Your letter. I said I would stop.
She stood frozen, a dozen emotions flickering across her face. Then, with a breath, she nodded and stepped over the threshold. He led her to the sofa, and she perched on its edge, her hands twisting in her lap, as if trying to wring out an answer. Hiroki sat across from her, the low table between them, and waited until her eyes finally lifted to meet his.
Would you like some tea? It might help.
She shook her head, her knuckles white. The silence stretched, but the real conversation was finally in his hands.
Tomoko-san, your note said you wanted to see me open them. Why? Please tell me the truth.
Her mouth opened, but no sound came. Then, like a dam cracking, her whole body shook. A sob escaped her, and she pressed her fist against her mouth as if she could force it back.
I wrote them. All those letters. They're from me. Your translation of The Bridge Beyond. It saved my life.
And then, in broken sentences, she mentioned a girl who lost her brother to suicide, a bridge, and a choice.
That story. It was my story. I'd lived it. Your words. They pulled me back.
Hiroki's mind reeled. The letters, the doorbell, the tears. They rearranged into a pattern he was afraid to name.
She didn't just read my translation. She lived it. And I almost called the police on her.
But he didn't speak. He just listened, because the truth was still unspooling, and he knew there was more.
My brother. He died the same way as the girl in your novel. I found him. I never recovered, the night I'd planned to end it. I saw your book in a secondhand store. I bought it because the cover looked like him.
Her voice steadied as she remembered reading that first chapter. The Polish winter around her, but the words cutting through.
I wrote to thank you, but I used fake names. I felt so broken. I thought if you knew the real me, you'd be disgusted. I took the postal job so I could deliver them myself. I needed to see you open them, to know my words reached you.
Hiroki felt the room shrink. 2 years of letters, every doorbell ring, every pause before the chime, all of it built on a girl's desperate will to live.
Every letter was a thank you for another day. I stayed alive. Seeing you open them was proof.
Neither spoke for a long moment. The tea had gone cold, but the silence was no longer hostile. It was full.
She built her days around delivering words to me. How did I ever think this was about junk mail?
There was more. He could feel it, a truth she still held back. But she had already given him the shape of her wound. Hiroki stood and crossed to his desk. He lifted the bundle of envelopes, pale blue, cream, lavender, and held them as carefully as evidence.
I kept every one. I read them all, Tomoko.
She lifted her soaked face, eyes widening at the sight of her own handwriting in his hands.
They meant something to me, but I never knew. I never knew they were from you.
Before she could answer, he set the letters aside and crossed the space between them. He knelt and pulled her gently into his arms. For a heartbeat, she was rigid. Then she melted, her fists clutching the back of his shirt, a raw sob breaking against his shoulder. Hiroki's own eyes stung. He hadn't planned this, only knew that words weren't enough anymore.
This isn't about the mail. This is about a life, her life.
She cried like a person who had held the weight alone for years, and now, at last, there was another set of arms. The afternoon light slanted through the window, and the letters lay forgotten on the desk. The room silent, but for her shaking breaths. Hiroki eased back just enough to offer a tissue, his hands still grounding her shoulders.
Is there more, Tomoko? Are the letters really all of it?
She nodded, her eyes still glistening, and reached into her postal bag with trembling fingers.
This one, I never sent. It's the truth. I was too scared.
The envelope was plain, no stamp, no address. He took it, the paper warm from her bag.
There's no address. Who was this meant for?
No one. I wrote it to the person I wanted to be. A version of me that could say everything.
Hiroki held the letter, her most honest, self-sealed in paper, and the weight of it settled in his palms.
She carried this around for 2 years, waiting for someone to ask the right question.
He didn't open it yet, but his decision was already made. He would read every word. He slid his thumb under the seal and unfolded the creased pages. Tomoko's most hidden words met the daylight. I never told anyone the whole truth. My brother jumped from a bridge the winter I turned 19. I was the one who found his shoes. For 3 years, I carried that image. The night I planned to follow him, I walked into a bookstore and saw your novel. The paragraph where the girl chooses to step back from the railing. Those words pulled me off my own ledge. I wrote you letters under fake names because I was ashamed. I never thought I deserved to be saved. This letter was meant for no one. I wrote it to the person I wanted to become. Thank you for reading it now. Hiroki's vision blurred. He finished the final line and sat motionless, the paper trembling in his fingers.
This should be translated too, into every language. So others like you know they're not alone.
Tomoko's breath caught. She stared at him as if he had just handed her back something she'd lost long ago. The proposal hung in the afternoon air, a bridge between her secret and a future she'd never dared to imagine.
You want me to help translate my own letter.
Only you know the weight of every word. This needs your voice.
He opened his laptop and set it on the table between them, a blank document glowing in the afternoon light. She moved closer, her shoulder almost brushing his, and for a moment both stared at the blinking cursor.
First sentence. I never told anyone the whole truth. How would you say it in English?
Maybe. I kept the whole story locked inside. But that sounds too plain.
Behind her words flickered the novel's old image, a silhouette of a girl on a bridge, stepping back from the dark. They worked phrase by phrase, her quiet corrections weaving the raw lines into a shape that felt true. Each chosen word felt like a small restoration of meaning, of memory, of the person she'd been too afraid to become.
I've never said these things out loud before, not even to myself. His name was Ren Takahashi. I haven't said his name in years.
Hiroki typed the name into the translation. Simple, human, and long unsaid. Then his hands stilled, giving her space.
The night I put the pills down, the book fell open to that page. I remember the exact sentence.
She quoted the line, a sentence he'd translated and long since filed away, and he typed it, each word a quiet echo.
A translator's note can give context. Why this scene mattered to you. It belongs with the translation.
He showed her where it would go, and she nodded slowly, understanding that her own story would now frame the words that saved her.
Could we post this online someday? For others who might feel the same?
Yes, when it's ready. Together.
The last period settled on the screen. The draft was finished. A letter that once had no address now had a home.
It's no longer a secret. It's a statement. And Ren's name is there, glowing in digital ink.
Hiroki clicked print. The soft whir of the machine filled the room. A sound that felt like an announcement. The page slid out, still warm, and he held it toward her. The translated letter. Her letter made physical. Tomoko took it as if it might shatter, her fingertips trembling over the paragraphs she knew by heart.
This is us. This is our story now.
It always was. I just didn't know.
A teardrop hit the ink, and the word brother softened at its edge, blurring into something new. He covered her hand with his, and the paper no longer trembled. The secret had a keeper outside the window. The sun dipped low, amber light pooling on the desk where the stack of fan letters still sat.
Every doorbell ring was her reaching across a chasm, and I almost didn't answer.
And in the still, golden silence, they remained, side by side, the printed page, a bridge neither was willing to let go. A few mornings later, the mail slot clinked instead of the doorbell. The sound had become a promise. Hiroki set down his coffee and opened the door anyway, already smiling at the familiar silhouette framed by the morning light.
Good morning. You didn't have to open up. I am using the slot now.
I know, but I wanted to say hello.
She handed him a single envelope, this time with her real name and return address on the back. No pseudonym, no secret. He glanced at the familiar handwriting, no longer hiding behind an alias, and felt the weight of all those months finally settle into something ordinary.
Coffee's fresh. Come in for a minute?
She hesitated just a second, that old pause, then crossed the threshold with a quiet nod. They sat on the sofa, the morning light falling across the framed translation on the wall. The mail slot was enough now, but the door stayed open longer than it ever had before, and the coffee was for two on the wall beside the door. The translated letter hung in a simple frame. Below it, the mail slot, now used without hesitation, beside the doorbell. A post-it note fluttered in the morning draft, in her handwriting, "Ring anyway," and a tiny heart. He had kept every letter. Tied with twine, they rested on the bookshelf, a stack of fears turned into bridges. The apartment felt different now. Not emptier, but filled with the quiet knowledge that someone else's words had once saved a life. Some deliveries don't need a doorbell. They need time and the courage to let someone in. Hiroki looked at the framed page. The Polish words he'd translated years ago, now framed beside the words she had written back. Two acts of translation, each pulling someone back from the edge. Outside, the mail van pulled away, but Tomoko's note stayed. A reminder that every letter was once a person holding out their hand. Wide shot of the apartment. Morning light, bookshelves, a framed letter, a coffee cup for two. The door stayed open a little longer now. Not for the mail, but for the one who brought it.